So, Mark, the updated stats for the end of what's the date today? The 27th of October in Barrie.
Yeah, you know what? We've seen still soft sales when we look at last year's numbers. We've had some news with the Bank of Canada pausing on the rate increases, which I think will remain for some time. I don't see that changing. I think now they're in the position of letting it ride for a while, and also with what's going on in Israel as well. Oil's up again today on fears of conflict is going to continue. So let's hopefully these inflation pressures don't continue, but I think they're going to. But I think the Feds are going to leave the bank rates alone for some time. Looking at the sales so far for this year, there was 17 sales. Last year there was 36 sales. Detached there was 14 and three towns. Sorry, there was 18 sales because I included a duplex. So that number, we're still 15%. Sorry, we're still 50%
below last year.
Right. Keep in mind, we're doing this video at 1:15 on a Friday afternoon. We're going to see some of those numbers trickle in, but we don't have them right now. So we looked at last week's, it was equal. I don't think we're going to make up 17 sales, but who knows, right? But
yeah,
at the time frame right now, we might get 10 or 12 of them, but come Monday, I think we do another video again just to update the public and for our own information as well. But as we sit right now, sales are really, really soft.
I have 4 under 700 out of the 17. 6 of them were between 8 and 900, and 5 of them were actually over $1 million. That's a third. It's like 30.
That's a shock, right? Because we're not usually used to seeing that kind of a number in that mix being kind of high. So
I know.
A bit of a shock. And when we look at the last year's number, I think it was 3. So even we've done 2 more sales over $1 million this year. Kind of a surprise, right? So
one was 1.6 and one was 1.2.
Yeah.
But you know what's shocking me right now? So I looked up how many active duplexes there were for sale. And we have 18 total.
Yeah.
8 of them are under 700.
And how many days on market for that group?
Well, listen, some of them over 3 months.
Yep.
But a lot of them, well, there's 4 vacant ones that just came up in the last week. So out of the 8, 4 of them are vacant. So you know what people are doing?
They're getting
now they're getting rid of the tenants before they even list because they know.
It's the right thing to do. Right.
And 5 are under 800.
Yeah.
But I mean, for legal duplexes, those numbers are pretty low.
Yeah, but the demand isn't there for them anymore. Right? Like, look at the cash. They're going to be negative cash flow every month if someone's putting down 20, even 30%. The landlord's going to subsidize that, which investors hate doing. And think about it. I mean, yes, there's big investors won't go for it. They'll go for bigger properties and more commercial and maybe, 6-plex or 8-plex. But the average person, they can't qualify for them anymore, right? The negative cash flow. And we know what's going on in the LTB. It doesn't make it. No, I really believe these are going to be a dud for a long time until the landlord tenant board gets their act together. And I don't see that anytime soon.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I was just shocked because I have a client looking and I couldn't believe how many are under 7.
Yeah, I know.
It's a lot.
It is a lot. They're not, remember at the height, those properties were in full demand. Now, you better make sure it's really spruced up and vacant before even thinking listing. And if you think you're getting big money for it, think again.
Yeah, the ones that have tenants have been sitting there a long time. There was that one just off Burton. I can't remember the name of the street right behind Burton, by the train station. I remember a couple years ago when I was actually with Remax, it sold for $1 million.
Yeah. Yeah. Crazy, eh? They sure wouldn't get $1 million today.
Oh God, no.
You know what else I'm saying? Looking at the solds more in depth too. is that the sale price to list price is at 97 to 98% on most of the listings, right? So it's hanging in there pretty good, right? We're seeing, and yes, we're seeing the odd deal, but I'm pretty happy with that number. I only seen one sell over list price this week, and that was a townhouse.
Well, I think though what's happening too is if you're not selling, people are lowering the price. So they're getting the price once they lower it.
100%. And we know that's happening out there, right? We know that some sellers are, whether we don't know everything about it, but some of them are in a financial, position. Some have bought, some are frustrated, right? So, I think that will continue as we go through. I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. And I was seeing a clip today on TikTok. So a mortgage agent, there is $30 billion worth of mortgages next year in Canada renewing. How is that going to play on the future market?
Well, that's what I was saying in the last video. Some article that I read, 75% of people have not renewed at the higher rate.
Yeah.
75%.
It's a huge number. Massive
Number.
Let's hope
that's why a lot of people right now though aren't hurting yet, right?
They're not. And if they took 5-year mortgages, when did they take them? 2019. It could be okay. The market wasn't bananas then. They could be okay. We may not see some, but some of them have, I think the pain is kind of over for that variable product today. For people, I think they can relax a bit because I don't think it's going anywhere. And I know
the other problem though that I saw happen during COVID, the mortgage people, all they were doing were refis. They were refinancing and pulling money out of their house to build their pool or to upgrade the house because they were stuck in it all the time now. And the values were so high, everybody was pulling money out.
Yeah, banks are in a weird position for next year, right? Some of them are underwater right now and a lot of mortgage debt out there. So I don't think it's going to spill over to the real estate market. I don't think we're not seeing it now. We're not seeing it this year. We're not seeing an excessive amount of inventory, right? All coming. We're not seeing the sales being generated. And I think now that with the tightening for the last year, I think now it's kicking into high gear. And then people are thinking, Christmas is coming. I went to the Colts game last night. You think about it, Barrie's got 150,000 people just in Barrie. Innisfil's got 34,000. What has Essa got? Do you know?
No, I don't want to say a number off the top of my head because I'm not sure.
Surrounding areas, Springwater, Evenor, Medonte, those areas, we're probably sitting at about 225,000 people. There was 25%, at least 25% of those seats were empty last night.
Oh, really? Eh?
Ticket prices was $32 a ticket. So I'm looking around going, holy cow, and it was a nice night. Great. I love going to hockey games when it's warm out because I hate leaving at -30. That ain't happening.
Yeah.
Oh, but I don't know. Are people tightening? I don't know. Maybe.
People are tightening.
I think so too. I think these rate hikes have really gotten a hold of people and said, hey, now it's time just to cut back. And we've seen it in the real estate market too. Since September and October, we've seen it. Not getting those sales, but again, we're going to go through the sales on Monday to see, where the final number comes in to give the audience a better idea, but we're definitely not seeing it right now. I want to go to updates before we continue the conversation. So 571 listings. That was the same number as last year, as last week we did it. When I pulled up the updates, it says there's 110 new listings, but we got to count for 38 to 40% of them being terminated, relisted, because they all track it. You can track it better on the Barrie board.
Listen, if there's only 17 sales and the inventory hasn't changed, then how many new listings out of that were actually new?
I know, right? And I wish they would give us more fields to determine that, and they don't. As soon as we, someone who had a property listed for 90 days says, okay, let's cancel and relist it, that's considered a new listing.
I know.
Right? So I wish we could break it down. I wish we had the tools to get the accurate number.
Well, see, on the Barrie board, it says combined days on market, not just days on market. So you
Right.
can see that it was canceled and relisted. So
Yeah.
you know exactly how long it was there. But the Toronto board, you can't do that.
Can't. So the inventory is not going up, as which we kind of predicted last week too, and seeing the same thing. We're not seeing inventory. It was all front loaded in September. Now we need some sales. 31 price changes this week. And right now we're sitting at 16 conditional sold. Some of them are firming up today. Some are firming up on Monday. But, you know, we could make up 15 or 16 sales between now and the end of the week. I mean, tonight, maybe. So that number might come down quite a bit, but I'm still seeing a lot of termination. So relist.
Yeah, because we're not getting any action.
No, we're not. And again, we know where that sweet spot still is. That 6 to 750 range is still pretty hot.
Yeah.
So, and look
Well,
at
I
that.
was surprised that 4 sold under 7, 6 between 8 and 9, and 5 over $1 million. So between 8 and $1 million, there was 11. That was the bulk.
Yeah, I know. And how much of that 6 to 7 without going in there to see, right, is actually how much I should have checked that. Next time I'll check that. And maybe I'll give the inventory numbers next week with that. If going, okay, from 6 to 7, there's 40 listings. From 7 to 8, there's 25, etc. To give the audience a better breakdown and see where it is. We kind of have an idea that turns over quite quickly, but I think it'd be
Well,
good.
yeah, and we know there's still, I mean, we did those numbers last week or the week before. There was over 100 listings over $1 million. So
It's a ton of product, right? It's a ton.
so
it's
5 of them selling is not a big deal, really,
not
in the
no,
grand scheme of things.
no, like that. And again, each week that number seems to be getting less. We're kind of surprised that we saw 5 this week,
Yeah.
but the market's cooling. I think it's cooling, and I think, you know, as we progress into November next week, you know, with the amount of Christmas parties and stuff going to be going on, I don't know. I think
Gonna
it's
slow down. I mean, I remember last year with my listing, I mean, November died. October wasn't terrible. November died and December was terrible.
yeah. You think about that, was last year the first year for Christmas parties in a sense?
Yeah.
It was. So, you know, I got some friends in the hospitality business, and they've been completely booked for months for companies having Christmas parties
Yeah.
booked up. So, you know, we'll see what happens. I don't think I have anything else. I
No,
think
me neither. I think we're good.
we're good. Kate, enjoy your day.
Okay, you too. See ya.